Aaron Judge deleted a baseball from existence yesterday. He's back to being an MVP candidate. The two-timer Bryce Harper, he was back at it again as well. His opposite field power is almost unmatched. He faced off against the Mets, and the Mets owner had some very interesting words to say about the trade deadline and the team's future. And the Brewers, they teed off for 5 home runs in one game. All of that and more in today's MLB Recap. We post these every single day, so join the team, hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for 498,000 subscribers. Also, just a quick reminder, don't forget to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets. And right now on Underdog Fantasy, my favorite daily fantasy app, code Fuzzy will get new users a $250 bonus credit and specials like this Scotty Scheffler special. All right, here we go. Let's start the recap. The Orioles, they're trying out rookie Jordan Westburg out of the leadoff spot, which isn't something that we see very often, but Jordan has been insane this year. He's at a 2 WAR on Baseball Reference after hitting his 7th home run, and of course he celebrates with the hydration station in the dugout. The Blue Jays, they bounced right back with a Springer lucky double, and Vladdy, he went up the middle to tie it. Wait, Mateo, he got there, so luckily Springer put on the brakes. He does not get thrown out at home, so 2 are on for Bo Bichette, who's been pretty bad, except in situations like this. He's hitting like 323 with runners in score position. That ball just got past the glove of Anthony Santander. Again, Bo's hitting 220 on the year overall, but 323 with runners in scoring position. Yusei Kikuchi and Kyle Bradish both didn't make it into the 6th, but they were pretty good. We're going to fast forward to the 8th inning. James McCann, he tried to lay down a bunt, and Santander, he dove in, but he's thrown out by Vladdy. Vladdy's been so good lately on both ends. So the score stays 2-1 Toronto. Baltimore, they have to face Jordan Romano, although he hasn't been the sharpest version of Jordan Romano. And Adley, he caught a barrel, and I wasn't sure if that launch angle was going to be enough, but he gets it to go. Adley Rutschman's 9th home run of the year is a walk-off home run. They beat the Jays 3-2. That win is huge for the Orioles fan base, considering Aaron Judge and the Yankees are really feeling themselves as of late. I mean, come on. Did you actually think that Judge's slump was going to last forever? He just went 467 for the longest home run of the season from anyone, make it 7 home runs over his last 68 at-bats. New York, they loaded the bases versus Pablo Lopez, and Volpe, he sent a rocket line drive. Willie, that's only the 2nd out. What are you doing? He thought that was the 3rd out. That's something that will get you benched, and if that won't, maybe this will. He yeeted that baseball completely out of the stadium in frustration. It kind of reminded me of when Bauer was yanked out the game, and then he threw a ball to deep center. Yeah, you just can't do that. Anyway, back to the game. Stanton, he showed off that #1 bat speed with an RBI single on a sinker in on his hands. This game's a wrap. Marcus Stroman is out after 6 brilliant innings. He held the Twins scoreless on just 2 base hits, only 2 strikeouts, but hey, 6 shutout is 6 shutout. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, they traded places in the 7th. Soto, he doubled, and Judge, he sent one over Willie Castro's head. Castro's having a tough time out there in center. That makes it a perfect 4-for-4 day for Judge. He also walked. He got on base 5 times. The Yankees, they've won 3 in a row, and because they won, they're still a half game ahead of the Orioles for first place. So Minnesota got blanked, and we actually have a few more shutouts to talk about, but I want to go find the other New York team because, yeah, Mark Vientos, he doubled in Lindor, but the two-timer, he went the opposite way in the rain. Bryce Harper's up to 10 home runs. He ups his career home run total to 316. He also has a near 145 career OPS plus. Both teams, they traded a few runs, so it's still tied, but it's 2-2. Well, it was 2-2 because Schwarber, he worked a bases loaded walk, and JT Realmuto, he smoked a single to right field. Pache scores, and the two-timer knocked in 2 more RBIs. His 3 RBIs on the day gives him RBIs 30, 31, and 32. Mark Vientos was at 3rd base. He drops a double play. I think that Stott was going to score regardless, but you can't give teams extra outs because this is going to happen almost every single time. Philly, they add another after McNeil made a sick play, but then it turned into a bad play. Another botched double play. This time it's Lindor, and I'm sure that Mets fans were very kind and rational about Lindor's miscue because he's hitting 200 with a 90 OPS plus. Yeah, that's not going to help his case. The Phillies ended up with a 10 spot after a Pache sac fly and that dribbler off the bat of Johan Rojas. Wait, is that Spencer Turnbull? He was nails as a starter. Now he's been relegated to the bullpen in a 10-2 ball game. JD Martinez is cool with that. He hit out his 2nd home run. Turnbull actually gave up 3. Great, they broke him. But Sir Anthony Dominguez did put a lid on this one. He got 3 outs on 4 pitches. The Phillies keep on winning. But now we have an interesting little wrinkle that you would only know if you're chronically online like myself, if you're on Twitter, X, whatever it's called. Some dude posted a podcast saying the Mets should restart and basically blow it up, and the owner of the Mets responded. Steve Cohen, he replied, all in the future, not much we can do until trade deadline. What does that mean? Is he saying that, hey, we're not the Marlins, we're going to wait for the trade season? Or is he saying, yeah, we're going to blow it up up and trade everyone. We just have to wait for the trade deadline to be in place. Pete Alonso's a free agent after this year. Severino, same thing. Edwin Diaz is making a ton of money. He's a free agent in 2 years. They got some decisions to make. All right, here we go. Back to the shutouts, and there was like 6 of them, so let's bang them out real quick. Okay, we're in San Diego. Kings on the bump, so the Rockies, their win streak is for sure going to get snapped. Oh boy. Brenton Doyle to the second deck. The onslaught of scoring started with a long home run, which means that Michael King, he is now allowed 11 home runs in 50 innings pitched. Rookie Jordan Beck, he's got such a smooth swing. He had a monster night. His 2-run double made it 3-0, and then Jacob Stallings, the catcher, he's still raking. He grabbed 2 RBIs as well. That second run probably scores whether Profar fields it cleanly or not. Colorado starter Austin Gomber, he went 3 no-hit frames. Profar broke it up. They almost got to strike him out, throw him out though. Tatis went down hacking. Profar gets the stolen base, but there goes Manny. Manny struck out 3 times in this game. His OPS plus for the season is at a pretty terrible 82, and he said, I'm not going to make any changes. I'm Manny Machado. Now, if you guys are not looking at the screen, please look. This kid has one of my favorite swings in baseball already. Jordan Beck crushed a 2-run home run for his first career tater. He pimped it too. I mean, look at the backswing. And he wasn't done yet. He made it a 5 RBI night. Colorado does in fact win their 7th consecutive game. They blanked the Padres in San Diego. I'm going to call them the San Diego Parlay Killers because everyone lost money on the Padres the last few days. By the way, big tip of the cap to Austin Gomber. He was the big fish, I put that in air quotes, in the Arenado trade. He now has a 1.7 ERA over his last 5 starts. The Padres are 5-3 versus the Dodgers and 2-5 versus the Rockies. Baseball. Now, the Astros didn't win by 8, but they also had a fairly easy, breezy day versus the team that they were facing, the A's. Kyle Tucker, he laced a single. Now he's trying for 2. Geloff, he spiked the relay throw, so not only is Tucker in there for a double, Altuve, he's going to walk home for a run. Tyler Nevin pulled a Willie Castro. I don't know if he forgot the amount of outs. Maybe he didn't think he had a chance at home, but he watched the play unfold for a few seconds before hurrying the ball in. What is going on? So Bregman gets the sac fly. Framber, he then pulled an Austin Gomber. He went 3 no-hit innings, and then he tried for 4, but J.D. Davis ruined it on a dribbler with 2 outs in the 4th inning. That's an annoying way to lose a no-hitter. Mauricio Dubon had a sac fly in the bottom half of that inning. I think that drove in the final run for either team. Yeah, that was the final run because Framber, he was out of his mind. He struck out Esteury Ruiz for a 7th strikeout, make it 8 strikeouts after he got Toro swinging. We had a little bit of drama between Framber and an umpire. Laz Diaz said that he balked. Framber was like, wait, I didn't balk. And then he was like, yeah, I didn't balk, whatever. I'm just going to pitch now. It's fine. That Tyler Nevin ground out ends his gem. He cooked the A's for 7 shutout on 8 strikeouts, only 2 base hits allowed the entire game. Josh Hader was unavailable because he went 2 innings again, I think the game before. That means that Seth Martinez is going to get his 2nd career save, and he gets it. Houston, they've won 4 in a row. The Astros really need Cleveland to stay hot and sweep the Rangers, but Cleveland's social media team jinxed the team so bad. They tweeted, or X, whatever it's called, brought our broomsticks just in case. I mean, call me superstitious, I don't care. You're never going to win a ball game after doing that. I mean, this was a sick play. Cool, I wanted to show it. Josh Naylor, he looked like a left-handed middle infielder on that throw home. That's a dirty double play to keep it at 0-0. He's just an insanely gifted baseball player all the way around. Cookie, he was trying his best, but you got to remember, he's 37 years old. Leote, he turned on a pitch for a triple, and then Simeon, he just barely got one to leave. I thought that Esteban Florio had it for a second. He's upset at himself. I think he banged on the wall. Sandlin, he came in for Cookie, and Adolis, we let him get hot. That is back-to-back games now for Adolis with a home run. All of that for John Gray, who might be in line to start the All-Star game. It's probably not going to happen, but you think I'm joking. 6 2/3 shutout with 3 punch-outs, and since allowing 5 runs back on March 31st, he's allowed 7 runs total over 9 games. He has a 1.3 ERA and a 1.9 FIP over his last 9 games, which is like 2023 second half Blake Snell level good. Again, odds are he's not going to start the All-Star game. He will regress, but I wanted to give him his flowers. Kirby Yates, he struck out 3 in the 9th. The Rangers, they avoid being swept. That's big because Seattle has been playing really well lately, and also them playing good has been good for Cleveland fans because they're facing the Royals. Sorry if my fandom gets annoying sometimes, but anyways, Kansas City starter Alec Marsh, he got hosed by Adam Frazier, who was playing third base for the first time in like 6 or 7 years. Maikel Garcia, he plays platinum level defense. He's out, so it's got to sting knowing that it's probably the 3rd out if Maikel's out there. Ty France, bro, that might be the single biggest hack I've ever seen him take. Like, maybe he was picturing a childhood bully on the baseball or something like that because he went 4-15 for his 4th home run. Brian Wu, he got himself into a big traffic jam after going his first 5 without any damage. Bobby Witt Jr. barely missed a barrel. It still counts for a sac fly. Wu's day is done. He struck out 5, and he makes Seattle unfair on paper, genuinely. Gabe Spire, he put out the flames by striking out Salvi to end it, and What is this next play? Was that off Ty France's dome? I mean, it's hard to tell, but Seattle does make the play. They then scraped home another run in the 7th. Bobby got it right back with his second RBI out of the day. It's back to a 1-run game, but Nuke Raley is back at it. It's not a home run, but it is an RBI knock. I don't know what that does for a closer being up 2 instead of 1, but maybe it adds some calmness and confidence. Maybe not, because Andres Munoz, he allowed the Royals to get runners at first and third. Then he said, you know what? I throw a million. I'm going to just see if you can hit it. Freddie Fermin, he could not catch up. Andres now has 7 saves. So Kansas City, Cleveland, and Minnesota have all lost today. What about the other 2 teams in the Central, the Tigers and the White Sox? The Tigers have not scored in like 72 hours. So yeah, they lost. After Jazz beat out an infield single, extra base machine Brian De La Cruz hit one of the longest wall scrapers anyone can hit, because the outfield in Detroit is so cavernous. You got to have some serious power to go to deep center. He has 9 home runs on the season now, but like I mentioned, Detroit, they haven't scored in a few days. So Casey Mize, he's going to get the Reese Olson treatment of taking the tough L. Props to Trevor Rogers, who was tossing his glove and throwing things after allowing 12 earned runs in his previous 2 starts. He bounces back to strike out 6 over 5 shutout. He got Wencel Perez twice, and then after loading the bases, he made Urshela look like Javier Baez, which is not a compliment anymore. His bounce back was aided by Jazz Chisholm. He robbed Javi of a base knock. Now we're going to skip to the 9th, because you have to ask yourselves, did I just get gaslit and lied to by a man who calls himself Fuzzy? Javier Baez and Carson Kelly, they get back-to-back base hits. Javi's at third base. Riley Green, he's up, and here's the walk-up. Just kidding. Riley, he chases a pitch in the mesosphere. I think that's what you call it, like that's above the stratosphere, I think. Tanner Scott now has 5 saves, and check this out. He has a 2.2 ERA and 123 strikeouts over his last 96 innings. That's insane. So the White Sox are the AL Central's last hope to avoid a division sweep. Every other team has lost. Crochet, he's coming off a career-high 11 strikeouts, and he got right back to work. Jacob Young, he's down swinging. And if I'm Senzel, I'm now swinging at the umpire, because what is that strike 3 call? That is rough. Kybert, he's down swinging, and Trey Lipscomb, smell ya. That's 4 strikeouts through an inning and 2/3. And look at Zach Remillard getting up for the grab. Garrett Crochet, he was like, stretch, get up there. He jumped along with Zach. He's got 2 shutout under his belt, and now he's got 3 shutout after Kybert went down for the 2nd time. Garrett wasn't terribly efficient though, so he's out after 5 shutout with 6 strikeouts. Tommy Pham got one to sneak down the left field line, because of course he did. Brendan Shoemake, he flies around from first to score. Patrick Corbin is now going to get the Tigers treatment, even though he only allowed 2 runs and a pretty good start. He was doomed after the first run. Corey Lee, he singled in Chicago's 2nd run, and as a catcher, he's hitting .305 with an .840 OPS. He went a perfect 3 for 3 in this one. Kopech, he again allowed multiple base runners in the final inning, so of course the go-ahead run is now at the dish. It took him 33 pitches, but he eventually earns the save, his 5th of the year. The White Sox, they're 8-4 over their last 12 games. There's no AL Central sweep. The White Sox, they save it. Finally, the shutouts are over with. You guys remember field day? Like back in elementary school, there was no actual work. You just played outside all day with friends. Well, Milwaukee had a field day, and it came at the expense of the Pirates. The Brewers had 5 home runs off one dude, I think. Sal Frelick, he dropped a bunt down, so 2 are on for William Contreras, and there's home run number 1 for the Brew Crew. I think that we can maybe all agree that William is now the best catcher in baseball, right? He's not done. Wait for it, because things are about to get scary. Scary Gary, that is. El Kraken, he turned on a cutter for a 2-run home run. Gary's got 6, and since last year, he has 25 home runs in 102 games. Sal Frelick, have yourself a last 24 hours. He goes the other way now. Lefty, lefty. I did not know that he had it in him, but hey, back-to-back games with a home run. That one just snuck out, and Joey Ortiz golfed the pitch. He looked like Scotty Scheffler right there. Again, use code Fuzzy on Underdog Fantasy. You get that Scotty Scheffler special. Going 425 feet on that pitch is insane, and if that didn't make you feel bad enough, because none of us watching can do that, what were you doing at 20 years old? I was heartbroken and depressed over a girl. I think I actually quit YouTube briefly when I was 20. But anyways, Jackson Chorio, he's hitting 450-foot home runs in the big leagues at 20 years old. He joins Fernando Tatis Jr., Carlos Correa, and Ken Griffey Jr. as the only 20-year-olds ever to have 5+ home runs and 5 stolen bases through his first 39 games. Sal Frelick, he's not done yet either. He legged out a hustle double in the 6th, and William Contreras, he's going to add a stand-up triple to his day. He's hitting .360 on the year with 34 home runs and a 182 OPS plus as a catcher. The Brewers, they went easy, but I can't move on just yet, because rookie Robert Gasser, he improved the 2-0 after his offense showed out. He held the Pirates to 1 run over 5. Now, he only had 2 strikeouts, but he was a strikeout machine in the minor leagues, so it's only a matter of time. The Brewers are 26-17. No Corbin Burns, no Brennan Woodruff. You got to tip your cap. They're hitting all the right buttons right now. Now, these next 2 teams have done the opposite. Like, they're thinking they're hitting all the right buttons, and then, like, someone walks in and reveals that they labeled the buttons wrong, so they thought they were hitting the right ones, but in reality, they were hitting all the ones that cause sadness and misery. Cardinals hit all the wrong buttons today, and Nolan Schanuel hit the right one. He's up to 4 home runs. Willie Calhoun laced a double, and Luis Guillorme, he scored all the way from first. I'm glad that he's still out there, and Ron Washington hopefully apologized. Willie ends up at third base after the Cardinals try to get Luis at home. So this little dribbler off the bat of Kevin Pillar gives him another RBI. Kevin, he scored moments later on a wild pitch. Lance Lynn was getting cooked early on. He got bailed from allowing more after Goldie made a sick play at first base, and then Burleson, he reached over the fence to make the final out of the inning. Goldie helped out again. He went to right center. He has 2 home runs and 4 RBIs since we called him out. Now, before we give a shout out to Griffin Canning, look at the Halos teeing off. Zach Neto, he has 4 home runs. Taylor Ward now has 8 home runs on the year. They sealed this game up in a hurry, and Canning, he struck out 5 Cardinals over 6, and I don't know if Griffin is good or not because he's one of the most hit or miss guys in the league. He'll strike out 14 and then get lit up the next day. The Cubs did much of the same to the Braves, and I guess it's payback for Atlanta winning 7-0 the day before. Tauchman, he's been such a great ad since last year. 35 extra base hits, 10 stolen bases, and a stupid 391 on base since joining the Cubs. Chicago started off this game with 3 consecutive hits. It was almost 4, but Arcia stopped that Morel line drive, and what a play to get Bellinger at second base. Pete Crow Armstrong, he got a painful RBI on a bases loaded hit by pitch, and Charlie Morton, he was all over the place. I mean, he even tried a pickoff, and Master Boney, he's going to score on that errant throw. Holy MLB The Show toxic team build. Pete Crow Armstrong laid down he scratched that. He pushed a line drive bunt for another RBI. This was all for Javier Assad, who struck out 7 Braves. He didn't just strike out 7 Braves. He went 6 shutout as well. He has a microscopic 1.49 ERA. He and Shota have been maniacs. Like, Justin Steele might now be a 3-starter. Pete Crow Armstrong, he showed off the blazing speed. He goes home to third in 11 seconds. He scores on a Gomes sac fly. And then Seiya Suzuki, he brought home himself. Since last year, he has 66 extra base hits and a 126 OPS plus over 158 games. Javier Assad has been one of the best starters in the NL, and Tanner Houck has been one of the best starters in the AL. He strikes out Yandy, and then David Hamilton made an insane diving grab to rob Josh Lowe of a base hit. Connor Wong, he put the Red Sox up by 1, and then Garrett Cooper's controller died or something because Tampa, they score on that air. That is super tough. It's a 1-1 game. My goodness, Wilyer Abreu has some of the best bat speed in baseball, and he showed it on that cut. The Red Sox are back out in front. Tanner Houck was 1 out away from going 6 innings with 0 earned runs. Yes, 1 run did score, but it was an unearned run. Down goes Rortvet. Again, he was 1 out away. Alex Cora, he went to the bullpen, which was probably smart considering Houck was at 112 pitches. It just sucks because Jose Siri immediately found a hole. Palacios, he scored from second on a close play at home. He doesn't score unless there's 2 outs because he's running on the hit. Yandy is trying to break out of his early season slump, and that'll help right there. 2 big RBIs put the Rays up 4-2, and that 4th run was crucial because Devers, he cracked a solo home run, but I guess no one else wanted to help. Boston, they go down 4-3 after Kevin Kelly worked the 9th for a second career save. The Rays, they're back to 500. They're 22-22, and they're cooking lately. We had a slow burning game down in Arizona, but at least we got to see a few home runs. This is not a home run, but it is important. Ketel Marte now has a 15-game hit streak. Nothing came of that, but I did want to show it. We skipped to the second. Christian Walker, he got one to leave, and he's got 8 home runs and what am I looking at? A 9 DRS, 9 defensive run saves already. By the way, look at Andrew Abbott's face. He's like, yeah, okay, sure, whatever. Also, please look at the screen if you're not. Check out these pitches from Brandon Pfaadt. That sinker moved at least 4 or 5 inches to the right, and then this sweeper floated away from Luke Maile. And now he's facing a lefty. That sweeper floated back in on the outside part of the plate versus Will Benson. Brandon Pfaadt is nasty. He had 6 strikeouts through 3 no-hit innings, almost 4 no-hit when Santiago Espinal ruined everything. So both starters went 7 innings on 1 run allowed on a home run. Abbott and Pfaadt, they combined for 14 innings, 6 hits total. Pfaadt had 7 strikeouts to Andrew Abbott's 4. Pavin Smith, he motored his way to second on a 2-out double all the way in the 8th. Corbin was on the bench. He had the day off, so he was into pinch run, and that's one of the best pinch runners you can have in history. Lourdes took a deep breath, and then even Pavin could have probably scored on this. A go-ahead double wins it. Paul Sewald, he got a second save. Don't look now, but the Snakes, they're now 7-3 over their last 10. Logan Webb had a tough first inning versus the Dodgers. Look at this. He's facing Max Muncy with the bases juiced, and luckily he got Muncy to chase, and okay, he can breathe now. No damage done. Teoscar, he flies out to end a scary first. Former Giants catcher Kurt Casale is back. I guess he loved being a Giant back in the day, and again, he's happy he's back. After his single, Yastrzemski, he lifted a 2-run moonshot. That ball was in the air forever. It seemed like it came down 6 or 7 seconds later. Teoscar, he wanted some of that home run action as well. He tattoos one to center, but Luis Matos was shades of Aaron Rowan. Do you guys remember Aaron Rowan? He had no fear. He flew into fences. It seemed like every every other game. What a play from Matos. That could very well be the play of the year. Elliot Ramos, he blistered an RBI single a few moments later, so it's now 3-0 Giants. His average bat speed is 77.1, which is right up there with Stanton and O'Neal Cruz. LA, they scraped across one, but Luis Matos got it right back. This Luis Matos and Elliot Ramos outfield duo could be pretty sneaky over the next few years. Oh boy, here we go. Ohtani, he singles on a 1-on-1 fastball from Doval. Freddie, he's up as the tying run. He smoked it, but Tyro Estrada, he makes the play. Camilo Doval now has 7 saves, and a big round of applause to Logan Webb, who truthfully has struggled in his career versus the Dodgers, but he went 6 shutout, had 5 strikeouts, only 3 base hits allowed. LA, they're going to try again today for win number 30. So that does it for today's MLB recap. Thank you all so much for supporting this series, and thank you for supporting me. We're almost at 500,000. I can't believe that. Thank you so much for 498,000. Enjoy the web gems.
Back to the wall. Oh! Oh, what a pick. And Marte makes the play.
2-2 up the middle. Correa, great pick on the short hop. Steps, throws.
And once again, Jose Altuve serving the ball, but Zach Geloff making the stop.
Here in the ninth. A fly ball center field has Merrill going back at the wall.
On the ground, backhanded play, and Mastroboni. Ground ball right side, diving stop. Harper, he's got it, flips underhand.